Hello. In this video, I'm going to make Tonberry from the Final Fantasy series. I've chosen to follow the Final Fantasy VII Remake design for the lamp since wool is not transparent and making one with viewable fire inside would be quite problematic. Let's start with the wool you need. You have to prepare olive green, beige, cream, yellow, brown, black, gray and white. So first I've felted ball for head and base for the main body. The head is pretty simple to make. After you felt the ball into the size you want, you have to add pieces of green wool on one side until you get a shape of a tear. I was looking into the picture of Tonberry and checking out if the proportions of the head and body are right. Of course, the body will get bigger as you add shoes and layers for clothes, so don't overdo with your base. The eyes are also simple to make. They are just two small yellow balls. All you need is to place them right on the head. Since Tonberry is in almost all Final Fantasy games, I will focus more on my experience with this series as a whole. So, Final Fantasy was the first JRPG series I've played. I was around 9, when I've got a Final Fantasy VII demo from a game magazine. I kinda liked it, so my parents bought me Final Fantasy VIII, since my mom was like, 8 should be better and look nicer, right? I didn't beat it at that time. My knowledge of English was very poor. I was sitting with a paper English dictionary and tried to understand anything. It was a more interesting learning experience than a school for sure. Anyway, I was stuck in the game at the moment when you had to go to Trebia Garden. I couldn't find it and it took me like few years before I returned to Final Fantasy VIII and finished it. Had a lot of gray wool, so I used it for my main body. You can use whatever color you want to. So, when you have a core for body around more or less 1,5 of your Tonberry head, then you can add green wool where shoulders will be. The next step will be felting the arms. They aren't hard to, just check often their length. Think about how far they will reach once you add clothing. Once they are ready, connect them to the main body. Usually, I connect head at the end of work, at least for chibi figures. This time is different. You should connect head and body at this step in order to make rest. You had to add a lot of wool for the neck, mostly for its backside. I felt beige wool on the main body and a little on the upper arms. Don't put more yet. I felted a thick and long strand of wool, then, I connected it to the bottom of the robe. I made it enough long to cover the front and sides. I left the backside without it. I will felt that part after connecting the tail since the robe ends higher at that place and falls around the tail. Alright, now you need to do one more strand, but smaller for a collar. So, now you have to felt 3 patches of trapeze-like shape. 2 of them will be used to make sleeves and 1 hood. The one for the hood should be a little bigger. And you can add on more layers of wool for it to be stiffer. So, at the time when I stuck with Balam Garden on the ocean, friend gave me Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 and they were patched with my native long, and here is when my big love for the Final Fantasy series started for good. First I've beaten Final Fantasy 5 and to this day it's nostalgic for me because of that. I think my big liking of 4-element systems and magic based on fire, water, wind, and the earth started because of playing Might and Magic and Final Fantasy 5. Because of the many other story or game based on those elements always has additional points in my liking book. Final Fantasy 6 was my second fully beaten game of the series and I've loved it. I had my first ship, Luck and Celeste of course, because of this game. And I tried to draw my first doujinshi with a happy ending for them too. Talking about all of it is really nostalgic. How I drew panels in the school, hiding papers under notebooks when lessons were not busy. I need to felt someone from Final Fantasy 6 in the future. In the end, my favorite finals are 6 and 9. But I will talk about 9 more when I will felt something from it. I've played few months in Final Fantasy 14 but I quit because of a lack of free time. And since my in-game house there was demolished I don't feel like playing again even if I like the crafting system a lot. I spend more time reshuffling my inventory than fighting probably. From the whole main series, I only didn't play 11 and 15. I didn't have a console or computer to handle 15. Now when I have a computer, I don't have much time. Still, I know the whole story from some Let's Play videos. I'm looking forward to playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake when it ends on PC too. It looks amazing and I wonder how the rest of remake will look like. Well, then, it's shoes time. There is not much to say if you felted the other parts by now, just felt them so the bottom side will be flat and don't make them too short. Tonberry will stand better on longer shoes. I've added some green wool underclothes, you can do it too. When shoes in the main body are connected and Tonberry stands, then it's time to make the tail and to connect it. Just like you did a patch for slaves, now make a small patch in the shape of the knife from black wool. Then add gray wool for details of the edge. The hand grip is made from a small felted roll of brown wool. The bigger your Tonberry will be, the easiest those details will be too. Mine was around 16 centimeters. Now lamp, I've made more or less rectangle shape from white wool, a little wider on the top. Then with patches, I've made the bottom and the top. The rest of the details are small strands of wool felted slowly into a pattern. This is the most difficult part of making Tonberry, rest is pretty easy. You can use darker yellow wool for details to be more viewable. And there he is. Stabby boy Tonberry. I hope you liked this video. Leave like, comment, or subscribe if you enjoy this channel. In the next video, I'm going to felt something small, cute, and very round. It will be Hoodle from Tales of Arise. Bye.